Clementine Chalamoud, what is the weirdest present a fan has ever offered to you?
It's got to be that painting of you, isn't it?
There's been a few suspicious paintings of me over the years. Have you still got that dodgy one? I saw one down the lockup actually. That was there a minute ago.
I think that's where the one with the crows on the shoulders.
Yeah, someone gave me a picture of me looking like, what's his name, Burns off Simpsons.
Yeah.
That little skinny grey guy, you know, with a sort of bird on his shoulder. That was their perception of me. It's good to know that's how I'm perceived. That and the Holy Bible, I've received that a couple of times in the Midwest. You know.
Yes.
Diana Fabrizio, when writing a new song, which usually comes first, the lyrics or melody?
Depends on the track, I suppose. Usually the music comes first. Oh, did you say melody? Melody or the lyrics?
Lyrics or melody?
Melody.
Melody comes first.
Yeah, not always. I mean, sometimes some songs, a few rare songs like maybe Soldier's Poem, maybe Invincible, lyrics came first, but most of them, generally, it's the music melody first. Yeah.
Okay. Liz Holmes, what was the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten?
We've eaten some pretty
Pigs intestine.
weird things. That's pretty sick.
Was that in China?
No, it's in Australia, in a Chinese
Chinese
restaurant.
Chinese restaurant, yeah, we haven't been to China.
A few times we've been to Japan, we've eaten some weird stuff like, you know,
Cod's testicles.
cod's testicles and
Fat from a horse's mane.
Didn't you eat squid guts?
rotten squid.
Putrefied in its own putrid weirdness.
Yeah, it's like rotten squid guts.
Yeah, it's tough that.
James Wotton, I'm 10 and have been having drum lessons for a year. How old was Dom when he had lessons?
10.
I think I started playing the drums when I was about 12 or 13. 12 maybe, and I only had lessons for about a month and got a bit despondent because I think I enjoyed playing with other people like these guys and like listening to music and learning how to play the drums from listening to other artists and groups.
What was the first beat you learnt? What, double bass drum?
Yeah.
Straight in the deep end.
But you know, you can learn from that. Learning. I wish I had learned from lessons.
Next question.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. Bethan Watson, how many times did it take you to pass your driving test?
2.
I did it first time.
Yeah, I did it first time. How many points did you get? I mean, how many little marks did you get?
I don't know,
Wonderful.
but I thought I'd fail because while I was doing my test, I nearly ran someone over on a bike. I saw him write something down like, oh bloody hell, and I assumed I'd failed, so I just went with it and then passed.
Right.
Amazing.
Well done.
Beatrice Taifa, Matt, I read you've been to the Himalayas. Is it true and how was it?
Yeah, I went up to the Himalayas. Yeah. I was following in the footsteps of Mr. Palin. I saw his got a bunch of DVDs on the bus that made me feel like I'm at home on a Sunday. David Attenborough and Michael Palin. That's what I watch on the bus quite a lot. Little taste of home, you know, when you're out in the Midwest, America mainly. It's nice to see a little reminder of English vibes, and so yeah, that got me inspired to go to Himalayas. I went up to Bhutan, Kingdom of Bhutan, the last country in the world that's purely Buddhist, and it's got a king who puts you in a little box if you believe in any other religion. It's about this big. It's like,
Really?
yeah, it's dark. I had a guide there called what was his name? Kudos. No, that's not a name, is it? I mean, it's cool. It's cool. Game with K. Karma. That was his name, Karma. And and he said if you believe in Christianity in that country, you get locked up in a little box for about a year. It's really rough. But it's a lovely country though. Nice people. Geothermal, which is always a bonus.
Cool.
Which is nice.
Tammy T, if there was a sumo wrestling match between Chewbacca and David Hasselhoff, who would you put your money on and why?
For half.
Yeah, I put my money on the Hoff, you know.
Really? Yeah, Chewbacca would just cane him.
Well, I mean, Chewbacca is actually an imaginary character, so it's actually really just a man in a furry costume sweating. And the Hindu would probably get pissed off, but it'll look like one of those people standing side stage with flaming lips. takes a mask off after half a song is, can't breathe. And they put it back on again and pretend they're having a good time. Underneath they're just, so I think Chewbacca would probably get sweaty and jaded, and therefore Hasselhoff would be able to easily take him with his, they both got equally hairy chests. So,
Okay. Marika Jensen, what occupation would you have if there was no Muse?
I don't know, I just fancy being a doctor or something like that.
Imagine Chris being a doctor. Come here, let me have a look at you.
I can imagine it.
Maybe. Well, law.
I'd still like to do something to do with music, you know. I'd probably be like a clarinet player in a jazz band or something embarrassing. But outside of that, I don't know.
Who knows?
I'll probably join the armed forces. No, I'm not big enough. No, I'm probably not. That runs in the family, but I mean, I'm probably not quite big enough for that.
Become a dive master.
I'm small enough to be like
Caraway in the
a fighter
Caribbean.
pilot, aren't I, in a plane?
Pilots are
Aren't they
good
supposed
one.
to be quite small?
Yeah, become, flying's nice. We tried to fly helicopters once, so.
Yeah, maybe a pilot of some description. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, Giel Optveld. You once stated that every album contained one song which was different from the rest. That song was a preview of what you were about to experiment with on the next album. Is there such a song on Black Holes and Revelations?
Just tap out there.
What songs have been the bridges to the next albums in the past?
Well, you got things like Map
He
Of.
reckons it's Falling Down, Screenager and Endlessly.
Interesting. Maybe it's could be Map Of. You know, Map of the Problematique, that is. Or it could be Supermassive Black Hole, maybe. I don't know, really.
Supermassive is certainly something that sticks out as being very different on this album, which is something that's quite exciting and fresh to do in the studio, which we'd probably want to do more of. But right now, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a bit early to tell, but yeah, it could be Map Of, I think, maybe.
Okay, next one. Max from Belgium. What are your hangover remedies?
Keep on drinking.
Just keep on drinking.
No, you need like a pint of juice, like fresh juice, like lemon, orange, pineapple, and loads of ginger.
I'm going to say gin.
And loads of gin to top it off. That works pretty well.
Strip your clothes off, and you guys are supposed to sit in a wooden chair, upright position, with your feet on the floor, naked, like sort of touching your feet on the floor. That really helps.
On carpet.
Definitely totally naked. Just like it's all about toes, feet contact with the ground in a seated upright position.
Okay, I'll try that one. James Longoria. How does it feel when you're on stage?
Feels pretty good on stage these days, doesn't it?
It's nerve-wracking.
It's definitely, you feel very nervous before you go on stage, but actually on stage it feels amazing when you find that point where you're completely lost in the music.
Yeah, you've got to get careful you don't lose that grip.
On stage?
Sometimes I lose that grip every now and again. You've got to watch that. Sometimes the first few songs you go up there and you sort of go, oh, I don't know if I could do this. No, that sounds like weird, you know. But every now and again you walk up there in front of like 15,000 people and you sort of think of all the stuff you've got to do, like different parts, and that you go, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. But that's usually overtaken by overwhelming feeling of great kind of, you know, reciprocation with the crowd, and that kind of keeps you somehow. That kind of the vibe you get from the crowd somehow sends you up to this kind of level where you are able to do things which you don't think you'd be able to do, and I think that's a good feeling.
Cool. Right, Joshua Deganpir. As a group, what has been the most exciting moment of your career?
Well, we've done some pretty good things this year. Headlining Reading Festival was pretty damn exciting because that's just something that meant so much to us growing up as kids. First festival we ever went to, and I remember standing there with you and thinking that one day we'd play there in like '96, and then we headlined it 10 years later. So it's that's definitely a big special moment. That felt amazing once we.
It's nerve-wracking.
Back to that again.
I enjoyed. We did a stadium in like a sort of baseball stadium in Tokyo, and that was brilliant.
Inspirational.
Because all the crowd is around you. No, that was amazing gig.
Glastonbury Festival as well.
Yeah,
That was right up there.
Cool. Joe Gadsby. With your open views on conspiracy theories, Matt, do you think you've made it onto CIA MI5 watch lists?
I seriously doubt I've made it onto that list. I don't think I'm any risk. You know what I'm saying. Hope not.
What about, do you think, like Alex Jones is on any kind of watch
Yeah, he
list?
is, definitely.
Definitely on the
Of course
watch
he is,
list.
yeah. But I don't think people like me would be. I doubt it.
You never know.
He's going to try and rope you in on one, though, isn't he?
Okay, Gavin Evans. If Muse were to play a one-off concert on any celestial body in the universe, bar Earth, what would that body be and why?
Well, preferably a naked one. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what's out there. Who knows? You know, like it'd be nice if there's another planet out there with a bunch of humans on. Go and do a gig for them.
Well, we could go and play on Cydonia and Mars, can we?
Yeah, there's no one there though. It'd be a bit lonely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we could just broadcast it on,
No,
on
don't-
the
don't-
website like this.
No, I suppose so. Yeah. For me, it'd have to be like some other beings if there were any out there. It'd be good to do a gig for them.
How about Pallades?
The Pleiades. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it'd be there's a weird planet somewhere near the Pleiades. The Pleiades is like a little
Seven
cluster of
Sisters.
stars. Yeah, just a little bit to the right there. There's a little weird planet there. Yeah, that's where we'd go.
Okay, great. Amber Gibbs. What was the white guitar from the Showbiz tours?
White one.
That wasn't that little
Oh, the little Japanese piece.
thing with the speaker in it, yeah.
Oh, I think when we first toured Japan, someone gave me a present. Someone gave me a white guitar. It's like a little miniature one. And I think I used it, but it didn't last very long. I think I trashed it somewhere. But yeah, I haven't got it anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
She says that she's been trying to find it for 3 years now.
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese one. It's a Japanese miniature. Japan make lots of little miniature guitars that have got amps inside.
Okay.
You can find them over there. You can still find them.
He's on stage, isn't he?
Okay,
Agitated.
Jennifer Hendry. Is there any film in which you would like to star in as individuals or as a group?
Those acting skills aren't up there really.
These guys did drama at school.
Oh, yeah,
So-
I only got a B,
Yeah,
which
I
is
got a
deemed
bit
as
like-
a failure though.
Did he?
Well, a B. If you didn't get an A in drama, then you were.
I got an A star.
Depends how much you
I got a B. in
kiss
music.
the teacher's ass. Whether you got an A or not.
I don't know actually. I'd like to do something, but nothing like I don't know. It's like a little side part.
Anything by Quentin Tarantino.
A Bond bad guy. I'd like to do that. That'd be fun.
Excellent. Okay, Laura Tanguy. Matt and Dom, why have you not remained in Teignmouth like Chris?
Oh, that's tough. It's tough out there. Be careful. One step at a time.
I fancied living in London.
You know,
simple.
there's a whole world out there. You know, I mean, I wasn't from Devon originally, so I think I always felt that I wasn't really from there when I was living there. You know, so I think I always felt I was going to live somewhere else anyway. So it's kind of for me, it felt natural to. It's nice. It's all right down there. It's okay.
It's nice. I think I'll go back there. I think I'll probably live there. If I'm still around when I'm old. I'll probably live down there because it's a beautiful part of the world.
I won't.
Okay, Nicole Amponsa. If you had to give up all of your possessions but could only keep 3, which 3 would you keep?
House, car, bed.
I'd keep my first guitar, the DeLorean guitar, the sort of scratch metal guitar, because I did most gigs with that one. That means a lot to me. I don't know the rest. I'm not sure about. Really. What would you keep them?
I'd probably, a stat. What?
What?
What did you say then?
I don't know. I'd keep what? Go on.
A box of books. I think it'd be handy. Somewhere to live would be nice. Unless you're in a nice part of, the world that has a climate that you don't need to have a house.
I've got a microphone that I sang the last album for. I'd keep that.
I'd keep a drum kit.
Okay, Marissa Buxbaum. What song by another band do you feel like you could listen to over and over again and never get tired of?
A band? That I assume you mean
Or an artist?
a band. Well, I could listen to a lot of stuff by people like Rachmaninoff, Berlioz, these kind of composers, because it's an hour long, so you can listen to bits of it. Like a builder. If you're talking about like an Ace song, though, some Tom Waits stuff I'm into. Blue Valentines by Tom Waits. I definitely listen to that a lot and get, probably end up fucking suicidal though, but listen to that more than 20 times. Maybe Beach Boys, Good Vibrations.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Maybe God Only Knows or something like that.
Yeah. Beach Boys sort of feel good music. Maybe would be a good one.
Bicycle by Queen.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to try for Angelique Damas again.
Okay.
What is your favourite song from Black Holes and Revelations to play live?
Right now, I'm enjoying Knights of Sidonia on stage. I think that's growing all the time. It's constantly changing. Supermassive Black Hole, I think, that's really evolved since we first started playing it, and that's really enjoyable.
I enjoy Map of the Problematic, I think, because it's quite different.
City of Delusion.
Oh, yeah. The old bass solo bit, is it? the old look at me.
Okay, James Archer, do you prefer the extravagance allowed when playing massive festivals or the intimacy of small clubs?
Well, small clubs, you get crap monitors and stuff, and it's like, you can't hear anything, and the people are really close, you get a bit self-conscious. But of course, I suppose that's the vibe, isn't it?
It's cool, man.
I think it's better for the crowd when you play smaller gigs, probably. But I think there's a certain feeling you get from the big gigs. I think the festivals. The only thing about the festivals is that everyone's flat, so the people at the back are really, really far away. I think my favourite gigs are kind of the gigs where people are you get people on the floor and you get people sat around you, around the sides and stuff. Because then you get a feeling like you're surrounded by the crowd. And I think that's always a kind of nice environment. I think.
They're both equally as good. Big gigs are overwhelming, and smaller gigs are much more intimate and have a different kind of energy. So, the best thing is to go between the two. Make sure you have a healthy balance.
Cool. Okay, Dominic McKerney, do you keep in touch with any of your childhood friends?
I think our closest childhood friends are these two guys here, plus a guy called Tom who works with us. Between the four of us, I think we went to school together. So I think they were kind of my best mates in school anyway. So I suppose really, everyone outside of that circle was just kind of the kind of people you didn't really know that well. So that's why it's a bit uncomfortable when they start dribbling on you. You know what I mean?
Okay. P. Caro, Matt, what is the first song you ever wrote?
I wrote terrible track. What, me? What? I don't know. The first track I wrote Small Minded, it was called. It's pretty embarrassing. Had a bit of piano in it. Don't know what it was about. I think it was about being small-minded or something. I don't know. I don't really know what it was about. And I wrote another song that was kind of an attempt at a love song, from a 15-year-old's perspective. So yeah, that was early days.
Okay, Beth Rawlins, if the whole band was given the chance to live forever, would you take it?
Sure.
Depends what the ageing situation is, whether you actually get old or whether you stay at 27 for the rest of your life.
Right. I don't know, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's something, maybe there's something going on like that already. Maybe we don't know about it. Maybe we're just trapped in some weird time loop and repeating ourselves. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on. But I don't think I'd want to live forever. Really, especially not an old, decrepit.
When that arthritis kicks in.
Yeah. You just want to get it over and done with when you get to that point, don't you?
Okay, Dean Reynolds, how did Dom get hold of a left-footed double iron Cobra? Companies will not order them in for me.
That's a very technical question. Because I play in a band called Muse and we do quite well, I get it for free. So
You cheeky bastard.
Okay, Alex Askew, Marmite, love it or hate it?
Love it.
love it.
Absolutely hate it. It makes me want to vomit.
I used to hate it with a passion, but now I love it. It's one of those things. It's like olives.
I hate them too.
Fucking love olives. These days.
Carol Carthage, who is Matt's favourite classical composer? And how much of an influence has Rachmaninoff been?
I suppose the favourite. Yeah, I like Rachmaninoff a lot. I like Berlioz a lot. I suppose Rachmaninoff was one who really got me. He got me into piano in a way that I kind of saw. I saw a possibility that piano could be incorporated with kind of heavy music. I don't think there's many other sort of piano composers who write music in such an intense way as him. So I think that's probably the influence he had. But my favourite overall composer could be people like maybe Berlioz or Chopin in terms of just pure music. In terms of piano, would be Rachmaninoff.
Okay. Cecilio Giumento, how do you spend your free time when the tour is over?
It's nice to chill out in a nice place. I'm going to try and I either go skiing or diving. Just go somewhere where it's got really beautiful natural scenery. That's a good way to relax.
I've built a little bunker. I built like a sort of, I suppose it's almost like a bomb shelter, but it's kind of like, I'm sort of gradually moving more and more bits of furniture in there. It was supposed to be a studio. It is a studio, but it's kind of, I put like a bed in there and stuff. And it is actually a bunker because it's got 2 walls this thick, so it can actually withstand some pretty big explosions. So I might just lock myself in there for a year. Quite seriously, actually. Just like get lost making music. Because it's the first time I have a studio at home, you see, so I might just stay in there, hide for a little bit, just wait for dust to settle outside.
Okay, Tom Robinson, probably not the Tom Robinson. Which dictator, political leader, did you have in mind for the song Take a Bow?
Oh, I suppose it's all of them, isn't it, really? All of them together. It's no one in particular. I think there's a few little puppies out there these days, a few dark horses. Obvious names, but I don't think it's really them. I think they're just kind of riding this kind of this situation, which is not really... Yeah, I don't think they can be blamed. I think it's the people behind those people that are really to be blamed. It's kind of aimed at the whole system, really.
Okay. Jay Meadows, what has your most rock and roll moment been live?
Live, as in on stage.
Mm.
I threw a guitar at Dom once and accidentally cut his eye open, didn't it? That was a shame.
Yeah.
And then you got
Not only once.
No, it was only once that he actually got...
Well, no, I got blood in the eye. Well, I got my eye cut by Matt once.
It was an accident. It was an accident, and then he ended up bending over a over a couch with a needle up his bum in the dressing room afterwards, and that was.
I would have done that anyway.
That's very amusing. And then karma had its revenge on me about a few months later, and I smashed myself in the face with a guitar by accident and split my lip open, a few stitches, and Don was laughing at that moment. So that was revenge.
Okay, cool. Right, Rob Webster, have you made any choices in your career that you particularly regret?
There are some suspicious haircuts, and there still are, I think. But there were some very bad shirts that we wore. I think early days, shiny.
The LA shirts.
The LA shirts, yeah. I went for a stage wearing these weird shiny shirts, and it's just a bit embarrassing for everyone. It was before we actually were really that bad. I think that was a wise move.
It's a learning process, isn't it? Got to learn from your mistakes.
The unintended video. That was Dom sat on the edge of a bed with a couple of sticks, just like trying to look deep, sort of like meaningful song. It was just
shame.
That was just embarrassing for everyone, and me as well. Yeah, it was all just a bit embarrassing.
Okay, Camille Renault, what is the theme? Why is the theme of Knights of Sidonia's video a western?
I think that song was definitely influenced by a little bit by my dad's band. Actually, my dad was in a band called Tornadoes, who was produced by a guy called Joe Meek, who he was into a lot of, I suppose, Tex-Mex music, if there's such a thing, like Dick Dale, that kind of stuff. It's that kind of late 50s kind of surf rock music, if you want to call it. And for some reason that music ended up getting associated with, some of that music was influenced by a composer called Morricone, who's like a South Italian composer who did all the music for the Western films. So it's kind of influenced by his music, really, but his music is associated with Western films, so it kind of made sense to have the same kind of visual thing associated with it. And we had a rumour that the Cold Mountain set was just rotting away in Romania somewhere. No one was using it, so we thought we'd just blag it.
Okay, last one. Cecile Play. If you had to choose between one 6 feet long arm or an eye on your left knee, which would you go for?
An eye or a left knee?
I love these questions.
No, if you had to choose between one 6 feet long arm or an eye on your left knee, which would you go for?
Well, you'd look a bit weird with a 6 foot long arm, wouldn't you? And no one would notice the eye. But I'm just, how useful would that eye be?
I'd go for the eye. I think
you could probably do quite a bit of.
The old Masonic one leg up. Just sit under the desk, and you might get a nice little view there. I think the long arm would affect my piano playing quite drastically. And end up with a double length piano, maybe. I think that'd be good. It's tough out there. It's a tough decision. But something about the eye, I think it's a bit edgy and a bit funny.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of stealth, isn't it?
Okay, I think that's it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you
very much.
Cheers.
Have a nice time tonight.
Yes. See you later.